Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Bonsoir, tout le monde. I am Dr. Fayola Delica. I am your Miss Haiti Excellence 2020, and I have some beautiful, fabulous, awesome women with me tonight, as this is part 3. So those who have been watching us, you already in for a treat. You know the conversation is gonna get heated up in here. For those that are joining us for the first time, you don't have to be Haitian to enjoy this experience. We will be speaking English, we'll be speaking Creole, we might throw a little French and Spanish in there as well. This is a multicultural journey that you will have in understanding, as June is the month of Caribbean Heritage Month. We are still celebrating because May was Haitian Heritage Month, all through the month of May. Awesome time. It's not what we usually do as our festivities, because we have big events. We have our Compa Festival. We have all these type of events in our community, but due to the COVID-19 crisis, unfortunately, that is not the case. So there's been a lot of virtual events taking place. And so that's why we're using this platform as well, in order to continue educating people on the Haitian culture. I feel that's part of my platform, besides Empowerment 360, which is my pageantry platform, but it's also educating individuals about this beautiful country, Haiti, the land, I don't even want to get started. I don't want to get started. Let me just hold my horses. I'm getting excited here. But before we begin, without further ado, as I stated with you all, that we have 3 beautiful women. I know I'm the first beautiful one, so don't get it twisted. Okay, but the other 3 beautiful women that I have with me tonight, I would like to share their bios before we get started, because you all that have been watching us know these conversations can get really heated. So let me go ahead and introduce my guests, as this is part 3, as I said, of preserving the Haitian culture, and we're gonna have a good time. We're going to talk about a lot of different things, but we're going to have a good time. So let me go ahead and just read a brief bio. If I could read the complete bio of every one of my guests, we would be here until Jesus comes. But I just have a snippet of their bios. So if you want to know more about them, what they're doing, definitely connect with them. At the end of the program, they will share how you can get in contact with them. So the first individual is Jadine Lusant. She is a Miami native whose daily mantra is, "Too much is given, much is required." Her background in mentorship, devotion to Christ, and passion to transform lives helps this vision come to life. Depending what season of year it is, you can view the young ladies in the program compete for a scholarship at Miss Transforming IAT pageant, or go to Haiti for their annual school drive distribution. In the end, she wants to leave the legacy of empowering one mind, one life, and one city at a time. And I'm gonna let you see her. She is gonna make a noise so her face can go up on the screen. Go ahead and give them a shout out, Miss JD.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us again. I want to say thank you for Miss Haiti Excellence 2020, Dr. Fayola, who rhymes with Crayola. Hello, giving us this opportunity to be on this broadcast, talking about what we love. As she said, we are the executive director of Transforming IAT. I'm also a nurse by trade. Okay, so we've been a nurse over now 15 years, but also giving back in the community. So we're super excited. We're author. We got T-shirts. We're a motivational speaker. Whatever you want us to be, as long as we're giving you what we know that Christ has called us to be, and a little bit of Haitian culture, sprinkle it here and there. I'm here for you. So thank you again, Fayola, and I look forward to the topics we'll be discussing tonight.
And she is no novice to the conversation. She has been our guest for all 3 parts, and so we just thank her for continually coming back and being. I'm not gonna say what I was gonna say. She's the fuel to some of our conversation. Let me just put it like that. So let me introduce you to 2 of my guests. They are new to the platform, new to our series. So I hope you all will definitely give them virtual claps after I finish sharing each of their bios. So I have Miss Joanne Petit, and she gave me a little tagline for her bio: "Beauty reigns." Oh, excuse me. She is a talented mental health professional with a passion to help women overcome depression. Her beauty is distinct in both her work and physical attributes. This queen has gained the title of Miss South Florida 2019 and uses this platform to empower others. Her counseling and therapy inspires others to challenge their inner self and acquire self-worth. The extra bonus attributed to her success is her Haitian culture. My love, say hello to the people, and while you're there, telling them what pageantry platform were you Miss South Florida 2019?
Hello everyone. Hello, beautiful people. Hi, Dr. Fayola. I love your crowd.
Thank you, my love.
Yes. Hi, Jadine. Hi, Noisha.
Hey, beautiful.
Hi, everyone looking. So yes, as Dr. Fayola said, I do have a title of Miss South Florida 2019, which I acquired from the Miss Florida International Pageant System. So it was a journey. It was an experience. That was my first pageantry, which I got runner-up for within 2 months. So I only had 2 months to prepare, and I made it happen. So yes, as you can see, beauty reigns, all natural beauty inside and out. And I love helping people. I love helping women. So thank you, ladies. Nice joining you tonight.
Thank you, Miss Joanne. And last but not least, we have Noisha Mariah Noel is a rising junior at the University of Florida. Go Gators!
You see the disgust in my face?
Slow your roll. I'm a Cane as well, so step back. Let us enjoy our moment. You can reign Cane in a minute.
It's all about the sharks. It's all about the sharks.
Oh, glory, glory, glory. So the University of Florida is located in Gainesville, Florida, G-Ville. And she is a Broward County native at the University of Florida. Miss Noel is a dance major with a minor in mathematics. Her credentials include the title of Miss Transforming IIT 2018. She was the first one to compete and win in that pageantry system that Jadine is the founder and executive director of. And I am excited. You never know where your successor is going to come from down the line. She is also the newly internal vice president of Club Creole, which is This is UF's Haitian Student Association for 2020 and 2021 school year. The reason why is because she texted me not too long ago and said, I didn't know you were the international vice president of Club Creole. And I was like, how did you find out that information? And she was like, she got a roster of all the leadership from 1988. So I am just honored that my name is still floating at that beautiful campus that helped me to be who I am today. I will always give kudos to the University of Florida. I tell people after being a Christian, the next best thing was being a Gator. And then the third thing was being a Cane. I got to throw the Canes in there since I represent.
Okay, because ma'am.
I represent the University of Miami School of Nursing and Health Studies Alumni Board. I'm a board member, so I'll make sure I give my props where they're due. But definitely UF has my heart, hands down. My sister graduated from there, and I plan to have my kids, my grandkids, and anybody else go there. If they don't get into the Ivy League schools, they're going to get into the Ivy League school of the state of Florida, which is the University of Florida for public schools. Well, let me finish her bio. We got sidetracked.
Okay. Sure.
While her studies, Noisha has become enamored with her bicultural background, being of both Haitian and Bahamian descent, and plans on continuing to dive into what it is that makes her cultural identity. So Miss Noisha, go ahead and give a little shout out to the people.
Hey everyone, shout out to my Gators, go Gators. Shout out to Club Creole, CC Posé. Hello everyone. It's truly an honor to be here to be able to represent the culture I come from. So thank you Fayola for reaching out to me. I'm usually not able to come, but she did it on a Monday today, so I was just like, you know what, I could slide today. So I'm looking forward to speaking with this wonderful selection of ladies, and I'm just ready to get this conversation started.
I thank you and everyone else. So as we have introduced everyone, I'm just going to give a quick bio about myself because I'm loving to say, Google me, baby. And so I, once again, I'm Dr. Fayola Delica. I'm an international award-winning speaker, international bestseller. Uh-oh, wait a minute. We got a guest coming through. Oh, we are in trouble tonight.
Facebook. We know, PT.
It's there, my love. It's on my page. I'm looking at it. Oh, hey, Captain IT. I thought we scared you off. He's connecting to his audio, so we'll give him a minute. So in the meantime, I'll just go ahead and continue my bio. So I'm an international award-winning speaker, international best-selling author ×2, Amazon best-selling author ×2. I am a nurse. I've been in the healthcare industry for 20 years. I've been a nurse for 16 years. I am an educator. I am a community leader. Of course, I'm a beauty queen. You're Miss Haiti Excellence 2020. I am a nonprofit professional, serial entrepreneur, political strategist, community leader, philanthropist. I mean, the list goes on and on. But if you want to know more information about me, you can definitely connect with me. And as I said, this platform is really just to bring information and insight to this beautiful culture. I am first generation Haitian American. I am the niece of the late father, Dr. Gerard Jean-Gist, who you would consider the Haitian version of our Mahatma Gandhi for the Indians, the Nelson Mandela for the South Africans, the Dr. Martin Luther King for the African Americans. And so I am just honored that my legacy, my uncle's legacy, my family's legacy, because it's been in my family's bloodline for activism, religious leaders. He was the first ordained Catholic priest in the United States. He was trained as an electrical engineer and gave his life to the faith of the Catholic faith. And that's what he did. He was a community leader. He was a human rights activist, and he sacrificed a lot for what he did to make a change in social justice and equality, not just for Haitians, but anyone of the African diaspora. And so I am just honored to be his niece, and my obligation, as he did not have kids, I am obligated to continue that legacy in any way, shape, or form. I think that's why I can't leave South Florida. I left for a little bit twice, and God called me back to South Florida. So I don't know what it is, but I am just honored to continue the legacy of my uncle to the best of my abilities. I realize I have to do it in my own shoes. I can't do exactly what he did, but in my own way, I can continue that legacy. And so we have another special guest in the house. I didn't think he was gonna make it tonight. I'm glad I didn't delete his bio from my Word document here. So let me introduce you to the male who's gonna hold it down for the male population.
Okay.
And Mr. Martin Nandy. Mr. Martin Nandy is the creator of Captain Haiti Game app. Before being known as Captain Haiti, Martin was the founder and CEO of Café Goudeau in Quebec, and now the manager of KeepItHaitian.com, a network that helped locate Haitian products and restaurants around the world. After a successful career in telecommunications in Canada and running his own direct marketing agency, Martin now invests his talent in social entrepreneurism. This serial entrepreneur, also helps Haitian farmers fight poverty by developing a new market for their produce. Mr. Martin, I guess he's Mr. Martin tonight because he don't have his Captain Haiti on. So go ahead
Dr.
and give
Delica.
Hello.
Hi,
there.
everyone. How you guys doing today?
Glad to have you. Glad to have you.
Glad to be here. I wouldn't miss you. I wouldn't miss
God,
it.
I was getting a little worried. I was like, oh, we don't scare the only male for the night.
Listen, with that stimulus package, everybody wants a piece of Captain Haiti.
Glory, just help me get this PPP loan and we can really talk.
Seriously.
No, for
Listen,
real. I've been working on it all day today, sitting in my car, going to every bank that I have a relationship with to get some things started. So trust me, we're not playing. There's too much money on the table.
Yes.
Well, actually, I want us to put a pencil there. I want us to have that conversation because I was like, Lord, I need another platform to have this conversation about these PPP loans and stimulus package and all this stuff going on. So hold that thought. But before we continue on, we have to acknowledge the fact we've been talking about COVID-19. And now we just bring quick light. I ain't gonna take too long because I have to get off exactly at 9 o'clock because I have another meeting to host. But what I will say is this: racial injustice impacts every person. Regardless if you're African, regardless if you're African American, regardless if you're Caribbean American, regardless if you're just Haitian American. Anybody, and even the Hispanic brothers and sisters, the Mexican, Asian, Pacific Asian, the Indians, all people of various colors are victims of racial injustice, whether that's police brutality and all the other type of injustice that takes place as far as racism, bigotry, anti-Semitism, etc., etc., etc. So before we continue on, I want us to pay homage to those that we are fighting for them. They are no longer here. But, you know, just as someone alluded to a few weeks ago after Mr. Floyd passed away, was murdered, I should say, let me keep it real. He was murdered. Someone called him a martyr, and I was like, he's not a martyr. Then I had to really reflect, and then I had to see the impact that's taking place. And you know, God has a way of using anything and everything to make change occur. And so I want us to pay homage by having a moment of silence. If we could list all the names of individuals who have died at the hands of someone else because of racism, because of injustice, we would be here because it started way back when. This is nothing new. Even biblical times, they were dealing with injustice. They were dealing with racism. They were dealing with some kind of brutality. So we're just gonna have a moment of silence, and God knows all their names. Those that we know of and those that we would never hear of that have been victims of this injustice, of this criminal act, of this inhumane activity that is taking place. So if we could just have a moment of silence, please, for these individuals. May they not die in vain. So we have to give our respects. Protocol has been in place. Now we can move on to the conversation. So Captain Haiti, let's talk about these PPP loans, these stimulus packages, because man, I'm telling you, there's so much money on the table. I just posted this before we came on live tonight, that there's money on the table, and over, there are so many loopholes to this process. It's crazy. Because if this was just a regular economic process, many of us would not be getting the monies that we are getting. But because there's so much opportunities, there's a crisis, there's a pandemic taking place, that there's so much money on the table. But what I'm coming to realize, there are challenges with disseminating proper information. There are challenges. If I can tell you how many organizations I called for technical support. And it's not to say that I don't understand how to fill out the application, but I want to make sure my numbers add up, so I can maximize the money that is available to me. And I tell you, it's been challenging. So let's talk about the economic impact. How is it impacting the Black community? How is it impacting our community, especially the Haitian community? As we know that there's so many challenges that we are facing. And of course, July 7th, there's gonna be a blackout. And I'm looking at, okay, we can have a blackout, but what is the strategy? How are we gonna, if we don't wanna use businesses that are not businesses of Black people, then how are we gonna survive? Because you still gonna have to eat, you still gonna have to put gas in your car, all these things. But I'm not seeing a strategy out there, unless somebody else may see something I haven't seen yet. I'm a part of different Facebook groups, different conversations. I'm not hearing nothing about a strategy. We're gonna do a blackout, we're gonna do a blackout, we're gonna do this. You know, there's stimulus packages, PPPs, but how is the community taking advantage of all these opportunities from an economic perspective? Let's get the conversation started.
Here's one thing about the PPP, about the Corona. After that is gonna be hurricane season, right?
Correct, it is hurricane season.
Okay, and then after that is going to be something else. Then in November, October, November, you're going to have another wave of Corona coming back to people again, right? And the thing is, how do we play two shots in advance, or 3-4 shots in advance, right? Because with everybody out there, you know, they're marching. Black Power. You know, I detest Black Lives Matter because.
Say that again for the people in the back.
I despise.
I told y'all the conversation was gonna get heated.
Overit.com.
Okay.
Stir in the pot.
Because once you're educated about matters like this, okay, you cannot be a sheep and follow wherever the wolf is guiding you to.
Amen.
Okay? We are marching, but they are leading us to a cliff. Okay.
Hello.
The same reason why, and now let's go on the business side. Okay. These PPP loan that they're giving away right now, America, the world economy is about to collapse.
Hello.
Okay.
This sound called tout le monde yo.
The world economy.
This sound called Creole.
Glory, I'm telling y'all tonight. Oh,
The economy. More love to you, sister. The economy is about a half collapse. Okay, it's like whenever, I don't know how many people have played Monopoly, right? Whenever you give a lot of money and Monopoly money within the game, right? At one point, the money have no value. What is valued is the property that you have. It's not the person that goes to go and collect $200 that end up winning the game. It's the people owning the facilities, the railroad, certain real estate and Monopoly. You own them, you increase your chances of winning. And the thing is, a lot of us were like, yeah, PPP loan, but you're gonna get that money. But by the time you get that money worth nothing. Okay? That fiat money. What I will tell everybody is to hurry up and get that loan so you can pay employees. Nobody around you should be broke right now, because that PPP loan is to help you retain your employee or to employ other people. And I'm not a financial advisor, okay? Don't take my word. What I'm sharing with you is ideas and concept. I have financial advisors that I work with, okay, in financial planning that help Haitian businesses to not only apply with the PPP loan. Sometimes they will call one of my partners and tell him, hey, I got 700,000. I don't know what to do with the money. Mm-hmm. Or I got 400,000 and they're paying 25% cut to a white accountant that have filed the document for them. And when you apply for the PPP loan before Friday, you only had 25% of that amount. Again, I'm not a financial advisor, okay? I'm only talking concepts and personal experiences with a few clients. 25% of that amount, you can use it on miscellaneous. You can use it for inventory, you can use it for rent, you can use it for the operation of your company. 75% have to go to pay, to payroll, to pay people, okay? So now, if you have somebody praying, that are attacking on a vulture to our community, and they go to our businesses and they tell them, give me 25% of the money that I'm getting for you. You just gave away all the money that you could use for your company. The 75% that you have remaining, you have to pay people with it. So that white man just ran away with your money. And you're still responsible for the loan because you're not using it in a way to be forgiven. And again, I'm not the perfect person to tell you how to get forgiven for the loan that you take, etc. But I just want to show an example that as a community, even if the money is on the table, right? Most of us are not structured properly to go and qualify to get that money. That's a big issue, right? Get your papers in order. Stop being an employee. Because when you're an employee, okay, they give you $1,200 as a check, and they're like, do whatever you can with it. When you own a business, they tell you, hey, listen, the first $10,000 that we give you, we don't even to be accountable for it, because we just want you to use that money and do whatever needs to be done to save your businesses. Because 57% of Americans are hired by small businesses. So when you look at Asians, okay, Asians, I don't know if we talked about it before, they have the lowest participation rate in political movement. Did we talk about that?
No, never.
No.
Okay. I was amazed when I was back in Montreal and I was doing some research. I wanted to understand the Black American demographic and our challenges. How come Haitians in Montreal? Because Blacks in Montreal is mostly Haitians. Our social demography numbers are the same as Black Americans here in the United States. And I'm like, why? And I started comparing different demographic, Asians, Greeks, Italians, right? White and Blacks. And I've come to notice that the Asians have the lowest unemployment rate in Quebec and the rest of Canada and United States as well. But they have the lowest participation rate when it comes to vote and occupying office, right? In cities, counties, state, and nationwide. They don't care. The only thing they care about is to have their own business. And this is why their unemployment rate is so low. Because having their own business, they employ each other, right? So once they got the money, they have the businesses, they're the one collecting tax to give tax to the government. The cop ain't gonna kick their asses. The cop ain't gonna kill them because they work for you. The cops are there to protect the assets and to secure the social classes, all right? But that's another thing. So to come back to the community when it comes to the PPP loan, okay? We are not structured the same way that the Asians are structured. That's why Asians don't complain about police brutality. They don't. When in California, where there's a good, a high concentration of Asians, okay, they had the governor to pass a law specifically for Chinese businesses in California to support them because people weren't supporting their business because of the breach of Corona. They wanted to save these businesses. So these people, now, if you're listening to this video, I'm urging you to take $155 that you have left and go to some biz and start a business. I'm urging you, if you haven't paid your business license in the last 3-4 years, okay, go and pay the $500, $700.
$900.
Huh?
I said $900.
$900, yeah, because we've been at fault too, right? So the thing is, what is important right now is to show the government that you want to create jobs. Their fight. Listen, I don't idolize Donald Trump. I despise Joe Biden. Okay.
Wait a minute.
Wait. What I'm about to say, I don't have any right to vote. I'm Canadian, okay? And even in Canada, I haven't voted once in my life, okay? I'll tell you why. Because until you have the economic base to buy them off, okay? What you say, you buy the vote for them, and then they will deal with you. But if you're out there and you just go and vote, and you don't have an economic base, you're not organizing fundraising for your candidate to have money so that your candidate can win. There's no way they're gonna vote. They're gonna vote in your favor. So that's why, for your vote to matter for real, you need businesses. You need money to buy them off. And once you have that, once you have them by the balls, then you can dictate to them which law you have to pass to benefit your community. That's the first step. So when it comes back to the Asians and United States and Canada, They have the highest level of own businesses and the lowest unemployment. After that is the Italian. They are the second that have the most businesses. Unemployment, they are the second lowest unemployment. After that, you have the Greek, and it goes like that until you find the whites. Until you find the whites and the black, they have the lowest level of businesses, and they have the highest level of unemployment. So that tells you that the answer is not voting. The answer is what you do with your money. Where do you invest your money? And it's owning a business. The same way we talk about monopoly. You own your business, and once you own your business, then you contribute to your people's campaign so they can go to office, and then you vote. You'll be stupid having a business, financing a candidate, and not go out and vote for him. You have to go out and vote, but you have to address the first step first, and we don't do it. So now there's $1 billion being disseminating around the United States because they're trying to save the country. And we are not ready because our business is not structured to receive that money. So I'm done with that. So that's the situation with the community and the PPP.
Well, I concur with your thoughts to some extent. I do believe, and we've had this conversation. It's been, I don't know, how long you been in Miami now? 3-4 years?
Yeah, back and forth, 3-4 years, yeah.
3-4 years. So when we first had this conversation, we're back to the same conversation about the structure of businesses, being legit, having a process. And I even share that on my free masterclass that I did for nonprofits today, is that, how you start in the beginning is going to dictate the future of your organization.
Yes.
And it's very simple, but you have to have the right information. And the reason why I said $900, because I had to pay that. Because I moved from North Carolina to Florida. I had no clue. I thought I didn't know that every state was different, as far as nonprofits, for-profits, et cetera, et cetera. And plus I shifted from having my own business to partnering and being an independent contractor for others. So I just left my business to the side. But when I realized, God was like, you need to wake up and go revive your business. By the time I went back, they was like, yeah, you're going to have to give us $900. I say, what? So it was either start a new company or go back, and I already had 6 years in the game, so I wasn't going to lose that longevity.
$900 is nothing.
Correct, and that's what I came to the conclusion of. But I want us to shift because, yes, the economic power is important. Yes, businesses are important, because when I go to Tallahassee, when I'm on these calls with, elected officials or movers and shakers, a good proportion of them are business owners. Or they have access to capital, one or the other.
They know.
Now, but what I disagree with you, and I'm going to shift it over so that others can chime in, voting. Yes, you need economic power. And you are taking literally everything that I just posted before I got on this. And I was just joking with them. I said, I felt like a leprechaun chasing a pot of gold that I'm trying to achieve today. Because I'm like, look, I'm not taking no for an answer. There's too much money on the table. Somebody gonna give me a piece of this bread. And so, but the challenge is when it comes to voting, I will disagree with you to a certain extent. Yes, there is a connection. And we kind of alluded to this in previous conversations on this platform. There is a connection between voting and economic power. Mm-hmm. We talked about even renters. Renters don't have as much voting power as homeowners. So that's why we look at Little Haiti. It used to be a home ownership community, but because of the shifting of the changes of people that reside there, older people have left to go and move with their children. Their children didn't stay in Miami because we're talking about job market, we're talking about lifestyle, we're talking about all these different challenges that was not appealing to young people. So there's been a shift now. There's more renters across the board. And don't quote me, look at the numbers, go to Miami-Dade.
There's way more renters, big time.
So then, there's where the challenge is that we can't really advocate as much as we could if we were homeowners because we have stake in the game. As a renter, you don't have stake in the game because you're not paying property tax, you're not paying and investing back into that economy. But when it comes to voting, I still believe there is a process to the voting process that still has an impact without the economic power. And I say that because of masses and numbers. And I want to bring that conversation to the whole panel about the process and the importance of voting. As we are in election season, August is right around the corner for primary election. We are in a presidential year of elections. In November, we have our general election. Every 4 years, we have a presidential election, but every year, and people forget this, every year, you are voting for your municipalities, that's local government, county government, even state government, depending. For us, we're a little different because we have some that are even number years that they're on election and odd number years they're on election, and Supreme Court, and all these other elected officials that we give them power. Whether you vote or not, you are giving them power. So let's talk about the voting process and civic engagement.
Well, I mean, I can jump in right now. I agree with Nandy. If you really study the voting process, at least from the presidential standpoint, it's not an election, it's actually a selection. So people go, you have the idea that you're going to vote, but your vote really does not matter based off what he said. It's who has the money to push and back up this candidate so that they can do and push stuff for their community. And so for me, one of the things that came real for me, I think it was back 2 years ago, I removed myself from being from the Democratic Party because that's one of the most oppressive party for people of color, and they don't even know it. And ultimately, once I got off, she told me that I could no longer vote in primary election. I wouldn't be able to vote in the local government, but I could vote in presidential. And I was like, presidential doesn't affect me as much as my local government. So that rose a red flag for me regarding voting. And so I agree with Nandy. You don't have the economic power to make it happen. You're doing wishful thinking. Your voting is wishful thinking. It's not gonna make an impact for you as a whole. And of course, with this whole situation with George Floyd, one of the questions you asked earlier, how do we, Blackout Day is a joke. Black Lives Matter is a joke, because in the end, we have to come as a community to say, hey, we're no longer gonna put our money into places that are keeping us oppressed, putting our money together so that we can have the economic power to show them. And the other thing that would have to happen is we bounce out. I mean, when you're looking at, and I shared this in the last broadcast, for me, I don't identify as Black because that's not who I am. Black is a color. So from that standpoint, if I know who I am and what I'm called to be, one of the things that we're not understanding as a community is this country was never built for you. The Constitution wasn't made for you. So a lot of the things that we're seeing that's happening over and over, the Bible says nothing new under the sun. We've seen the same images over and over. When do we say enough is enough and say, hey, this is what we're gonna do, or we're bouncing? And I think what Nandy is saying, and I know where he's coming from, this Black Lives Matter movement, most people don't know it's being funded by the oppressor. They just use Black Lives Matter to put it as a front, but the whole agenda has nothing to do with Black lives. It has everything to do with the LGBTQ. It has everything to do with the feminist movement. And ultimately, for me as a believer, and this is always gonna go back to that, Yahweh is not a color, he's a spirit. And at the end, eternal lives matter. And so for me, I believe this whole thing is a distraction, because meanwhile, America is up in flames and rioting. The HR bill that was introduced about 2 weeks ago got passed last weekend. So this is now telling us that we can go into your home, test you for COVID. If you're positive, I can pull you out. Because we're out in the streets. We're out in the streets talking about Black Lives Matter and you need to take a stand. But at the end of the day, for a believer standpoint, eternal lives matter. Where are you going after this? Because he's not a color. And so they're using color as a way to get us all riled up. But at the end of the day, I'm a human being. And I already told y'all last broadcast, I'm a Hebrew Israelite. So when someone tells me that, doing this challenge, I'm a Black woman, I'm a Black man, that has nothing to do with me, because I know that's not who I am. And until you understand who you are, we're going to continue to play this little game, because that's what they're doing with us. They're putting the bait, and we're following that bait, just like he said, taking us over the cliff, because now they're asking to defund the police because police don't know what they're doing. But what's the alternative? Military. You don't want military to come up on the streets and we're under martial law. But unfortunately, that's where we're going. And so that's the agenda of the Black Lives Matter. Let's get them all riled up. and they're telling you they got paid actors. I saw a video where there was like 2 Asian people putting graffiti on the thing talking about Black BLM, and the woman of color going off on them, telling them, you know, this is why they think we're animals or we're uncivilized. And they're like, well, we're supporting you. No, you're not. That's not what I'm doing. I'm trying to peacefully protest, but you're the one doing all the damage and stuff because they're getting paid to do that. Because they're going to use the excuse that martial law comes in because we didn't know how to act because we're outraged. So I want people to wake up. It is a distraction. And unless you're looking at it from a spiritual eyes and of course an economic standpoint, from Nandy's standpoint, we'll continue to have this conversation over and over. So for me, in my house, we're gonna serve the Lord and we out. How you like them apples? Out.
So I need my other 2, my newbies, to chime in. Don't be shy. I gave y'all pre-warning. These conversations, we come with it. This ain't no sugarcoating stuff.
Yeah, I see it all in. Since I'm already speaking, I guess I might as well just interject. But when it comes to going back to the voting, you know, and I was having this conversation with one of my attendees at UF, it really does, I do agree in the sense that it's more so important that we're focusing not on like the bigger roles like president, but those who are in our communities, because it's not so much even just seeing the action like the police killing people of our color, but it's more so who's giving them the power in a sense to be able to get away with it and get those lesser charges. So it really does come in a sense to voting. We really just need to gather together as a people to really look into, really research who are these people, who is coming into like our state governments and who's going to be like our sheriffs, and really making sure that we are choosing the best people for our community to ensure that, you know, we're not seeing our people getting harmed. We're not seeing not even just our people getting harmed, but the more anger is directed towards, oh wow, they did this to this person, but they're only getting what they're getting their little cuffs and their house is protected and things of that sort. So in terms of voting, yes, I agree with the more so local leaders. So I'm not against the peaceful protesting, but we more so need to have conversations with who we have currently in power in our state governments and everyone who's local to really spark that change, spark that conversation, so that in a way, you know, if they're uncomfortable, you know, be uncomfortable, but this is something that has been happening for way too long. You know, this has been over 400 years that we've been in this struggle. So we really just need to connect with our local leaders and really say, hey, you know, we know you hear us, but you're gonna hear us directly. You're not gonna just see us on the streets. We're gonna be blowing up your phone, blowing up your email until we really just get something moving.
So Noisha, before, I don't know, Joanne gonna come on, but it goes back to what Nandy says. We've already been done talking. We've been talking for 400 years and nothing has changed. If they really wanna see an impact, it's all about money talks. Point blank period. This country was founded on that, capitalism at its finest. That's how you make noise. That's how we speak. That's how we need to speak. It's either you're gonna talk that talk and walk that walk with that money, or you walk on out. Because at the end, America would not be where it is today if it wasn't for us and our forefathers who basically built this country. The same country that
we're consumers. We're the biggest consuming market.
And our money don't stay in our community. Our money goes out to 90% of everybody else. And this is what he's saying with the Asians. Asians are not here with the political game. They don't need to be in the political game because they're keeping their money where it needs to be. They're making sure everybody in their community is paid, taken care of, employed. So if I'm employed, I can pay my bills, take care of my kids. I don't care about the governor and what they said. I don't care about what the local police person is doing because we're keeping it within ourselves. So one of the things we need to start talking is about, besides the economy, we need to get educated and we need to get united. One of the issues and why we'll always be where we're at right now, because we're divisive. We don't want to come together. The people who, the one percenters or the people that are up there, they're looking at us like, oh, they're on the bottom of the totem pole. I did all the work I need to do. I don't need to worry about them because I made sure I'm on the other side of the fence. And so we're going to continue to have that. When you look at the Cubans, you look at the Asians, look at Dominicans, oh, they coming together. Like, what's that, Little Havana? Little Havana, if you don't speak Spanish, you are not getting service. How do you like them apples? I walked in there, I was like, am I in the United States of America or I'm in Cuba? Like, this is how they roll. And so at the end of the day, again, we've done enough talking. You need to talk with money, put your money where your mouth is. And if that is not going to be it, then you need to go back. And I think they said, Trump said, y'all can go back. He said, y'all can leave. And, you know,
Ghana is open for business. The Minister of Tourism said to all the African Americans in the United States during this racial injustice that our country is open. I think I might have to take a trip as soon as they say international flights come on.
I heard Trump say y'all can go back where you're from.
Man, these people been on it.
Cheap. When I tell you lifestyle is cheap, dirt cheap, you will be, your $150,000 house will be a compound in Africa, okay? If you don't know what a compound is, look at the movies, the African movies.
Hollywood.
They looking like apartment buildings, okay?
Yes.
I wanna pin something here, because as you guys were talking, a lot of things was coming to my mind. If we look back at time, who were the sheriffs back then? The Ku Klux Klans.
Mm-hmm.
Who was the elected officials? Those who had all this, they could control so much. And the reality is, when we were thinking about the young man, his name escapes me, so I apologize. The young man who died in Brunswick, Georgia. The one who was, Ahmad, he was jogging. Do you know that I believe it's the father was involved in the judicial branch? So these people are in government. So we have to realize at the end of the day, we got to be just as smart as them. Whether that's putting our own people in office, whether that's supporting people who are going to be our allies and have our agenda. And when we say this is what we demand, they're going to be like, okay, because they know at the end of the day, we're the one that put them in office and we'll be quickly to take them out. So I think the challenge is not only the economic power, but even if we did have power, do we hold our own people accountable? Do we hold our allies accountable? We think at the end of the day that once we vote that's it. No, that is just the beginning of your civic engagement. It's not campaigning, it's not raising funds, it's not voting. Once they are in office, are you calling them? Are you checking on them to let them know you got your eyes on them? You watching them like a hawk. And that is a challenge, because I would tell you, I go to Tallahassee, I go to these PTA, I don't even got kids and I'm going to PTA meetings. I go to all these meetings, and let me tell you, there's a whole lot of us missing from these meetings. And what they say in local government, if you're not at the table, you are on the menu, and they will speak on your behalf. I remember a couple years ago, I don't even live in half of these cities that I be going to these meetings, but I shouldn't have been put my nose in it. When the city of Miami used to have these strategic planning meetings, it was a small group of people. And when I tell you, the city governmental officials would tell us, you know, we've tried to have meeting with this community and that community, no one comes. So after a while, they're not gonna come to you no more, because you're not coming to the table. You're not being available. You're not even coming to the events they're having, whether they have a conference call, a teleseminar, a meeting or whatever. We are not there. And I would say, yes, some of the challenges are the timing. You know, if you have a school board meeting at 10 a.m., who do you expect is gonna be there? These parents are working. And the parents that really need to be there, they're not gonna give up their job the day off to go to a meeting. Are there alternative ways? Parents who work at night. If I was a parent, my God, I work night shift. I'm not gonna go to no meeting at 10 o'clock, but can you have a meeting at 7? Can you have alternative ways of engaging in the process? And what I think we really need to have is, I hear you guys with those who are against the protests and all this other stuff, but that's how the civil rights movement was about. It was economic, and it was a political strategy for boycotting, and they were able to make change. That's how we got the civil rights, all these different acts that relate to us and give us, affirmative action. Because I remember I was at the University of Florida, I sat on the affirmative action board. I was a student representative. So there's so many different things that we did take advantage of after these type of protests. But my question is, after we protest, after we strategize these blackouts, where are we going to actually rebuild our communities? Can we rebuild hold up. Can we rebuild the Black Wall Street? Will they allow us to build the Black Wall Street?
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll say something.
Can I before you start, I just want to say, I'm not against the protest. I'm not against protesting.
I'm not against it either.
What I agree with Nandy, and I know what Nandy is saying. We got to move beyond protesting,
I get
understanding who is funding this Black Lives Movement, and get where the money is to make sure these people understand that we're not playing games. That's what I'm trying to convey. So I want to clear that and put it for the record. I'm not saying I'm not against protesting, but protesting is not it. It's not going to be it. That can't be where it stops. And so that's why he's saying you got to put where the money is. Money it talks. No matter how you want to go around it, it talks. So if you're not coming together and saying this is our buying power and what we're finna do, they will continue to have another George Floyd or have 3 or 4 of them. And guess what? You're not gonna do nothing, because guess what? You waiting on that stimulus check, number one. You waiting on that WIC. You waiting on that Section 8. So as mad as you want to be mad at them, they know they got you on the other side, because you're gonna go back to them and ask them for aid and stuff like that, and so they can continue to do what they're doing to you, like today. Go ahead. That's what I just want to say.
No, I'm with you, Jadine. I'm with you 100%. Let me go back on the vote factor. Okay, I'm all for more. What am I voting? What am I voting for? What am I marching for? Because they got us messed up. They got you. Okay, I was saying that to a friend lately. They got you more concerned about the way you're dying than the way you're living.
Hallelujah. Say that again. Hello.
They got you more concerned about the way you're dying than the way you're living. Okay? If you look at the data, okay? Data, everybody tell me I always say it wrong. I don't know how to say it anymore. If you look at the data, it's data, right?
Data.
All right, thank you. If you look at the data, okay, there is in the last year, okay, I don't want to get into that because that's what people are going to get. They're not there yet, okay? But when you look at the number one cause of death of Black men in America, it's homicide, okay? And cops only count for less than 10% than these homicides, okay? So even if homicide is the number one factor in our social economic living condition, cops is not the first place I will look at. That's one thing. Second thing, whenever you see the Democrats and the Republican and all level of government agreeing on one thing about Black people, be worried. Okay, be worried. Third thing, whenever you want to have my vote, okay, just bring on the table a social economic measure specifically for my demography. You want me to go out and vote? What is interesting to me is to know how we're going to have more businesses and how we're going to have more ownership in our community. If you show me how and you convince me that you're the right person for that job, I will get everybody to vote for you. Now, when it comes to Black American, okay, the Aboriginal people of the land, and when it comes to Haitian, there's 2 issues that needs to be on the table to get our vote. Forget the businesses. First issue is reparation for the Black Americans. Second issue for us Haitians is retribution. The money that France took from Haiti with the complexity of America, we want that money back. That $21 billion. That's one thing. Second thing, the gold that you stole from Haiti when you invaded us, we want that gold back. And if a Haitian, you live in America and you pretend that you care about being Haitian and you vote along with the issues of Black Americans that they're giving you, and you don't vote for your main issue, which is your gold that they own, then you're not Haitian. Now let me do Joe Biden. You ain't Haitian.
Oh, Lord.
You want my vote? You want our vote?
Hold on, wait. I need Joanne to chime in because my girl too quiet. Yeah, I gotta put my girl out.
We don't know. No, wait.
JD.
Ma'am.
Getting excited.
Joanne, I need you to chime in, girl, because we're gonna have to talk about also the psychological aspect of the Black people. Are we dealing with a generational depression? And I'm not saying as individuals, but as collectively as a people, an ethnic group. What challenges are we dealing psyche? Because I tell you, there's trauma there. Whether you were George Floyd or not, whether you saw the impact or not, whether you his kin, you his cousin, his brother, his mama, his daddy, whether you're a friend or not, there's some psyche that we are dealing with when it comes to the aspect of understanding that our minds as Black people, have we truly ever healed? We can be healed individually. We can be healed as a small subculture. But as the people of African diaspora, have we truly healed from the challenges? And I'm going back even biblical. Have we ever overcame because I'm going to tell you, there's still a trust issue there in our society, in our communities. There's still challenges, and I think one of the reasons that hinder us from getting together, we've been so divided from different devices and vehicles that continues to now, we have been modeled it, we've been conditioned, and now we're actually living in that condition, and we do it to ourselves. What's going on?
Well, so I can speak. Yes, there is psychological trauma there. There has been, and there still is. And what pains me, I mean, the protests and everything, the reason why I agreed with some of it is because of the fact that, finally, for this time, measures were taken more swiftly with some of the protests that's happened. But the issue that I have is, just like Jadine and Nandy was saying, is what's next? Like, how do us as a people of color move on collectively? It is sad that we come together more as a race when there is a death issue than when there is no death issue. Why is it that as Blacks, we don't support each other? We don't love each other? Like, that's why, like, when I saw them doing that, I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm for the protest, but to me, it looks like a method of destruction as well. Because what Black people need to understand is that they're always setting us up. We have to also understand that, yes, there's police brutality, but there's also a virus out there. And who are the main people who die horrifically from this virus? It's us again. It's Black people again. So I'm not saying that we can't go out there and do what we have to do, but we have to look at it from a deeper standpoint. Like Nandy said, there's going to be another wave of coronavirus. And you can trust and believe, with all these protests going on, a lot of people of color, we're going to be most of the ones, in somebody's hospital, on somebody's ventilator, where measures probably not going to be taken for us to even try to save our lives. You understand? So my thing is, yes, it's all cool, it's nice and everything for us to jump on the highways, for us to do these things. But then when a year from now, when George Floyd is over and all this stuff, how are we going to support one another as Black people? How am I going to help my sister build that business she always wanted to build? How are we going to get to that economic standpoint if we always crush each other, but never uplift each other? It's sad to me to hear people of color say, oh, I don't go to this restaurant, or I'd rather go to the white restaurant or the Asian restaurant, the Mexican restaurant, because Black people don't have customer service. Yes, I agree. But are we teaching them customer service?
And it's not all businesses. It's not all Black businesses, because I can name a few that got some awesome customer service. Because I got a loyal customer.
That's true. But I mean, we're not as vocal about the good things as we are about the negative things.
You're right.
And the world is watching. When we're posting certain things on social media, which is the main platform that things get around, people are watching us. You know what I'm saying? Whites are watching us. Spanish are watching us. Other people are watching us. And even in the Haitian community, we're one of the communities, the Black communities that bring each other down the most. Like, you'll hear Haitians say, like, oh, they don't do this, they don't do that, which I agree. But have we spoken to that management? Have we spoken to that owner and said, listen, manjo bon, but you don't have customer service. I know a Haitian business owner who teaches classes on customer service.
I know, right? That's what I'm about to say. They're not even gonna receive it. They feel like yeah.
But it's even sad for us to say that. That shows a level of ignorance with us. Why is it that when the white man has his hand or his leg on our neck, we're trying to make a difference? Why aren't we making that difference every day? We're starting within our community. Let's stop racism by stopping prejudice in our own community. Let's stop speaking about and bringing down one another. Let's stop minimizing our black men. Let's stop saying Haitian men are no good. I bet you Spanish.
The issue is, I'm joking.
I mean, hello. I'm not saying that they probably don't have their default and their issues.
I'm joking. I love my Haitian men. Trust me when I tell you. I hope to marry one, but if not, the closest I'll get is the African. So I love y'all. Okay.
As one of their representative, right? Who's married me?
Which I agree, but because Haitian men, our Haitian kings or black kings, they probably do have their issues. But have we looked at it from a cultural standpoint? Is this something generational? Has this been something because of the lack of fatherhood, because of the lack of a man example? Are we just going to criticize the problem, or are we going to be the solution to the problem? How many of us are discipling these young men, are showing them, look, this is how your grandfather was, your father was, but you don't have to be this way. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to. Unfortunately, our color is always going to be a barrier, but our character doesn't have to. Because some of the foolishness that we're doing out there, out there, our character is being portrayed as what they always perceived it as. Black people are some wonderful people. We're very intelligent. Even the color of our skin, our melanin, could withstand things that a white person, an Asian person, skin tone can never withstand. White people get skin cancer because they're missing pigmentation in their skin. And we don't really get skin cancer because we're full of pigmentation. You understand? So we have a lot of goodness, a lot of richness in us, but I feel like there's a lack of education. People have forgotten to educate our generations. And then so we keep growing with this lack of information, lack of education, and it becomes ignorance to one point, because it's so sad that you guys were all just saying that if you try to school a Haitian person on how to do business, they'll turn you down. And that's sad. But you know why? Because Haitians have always they always grew up with somebody being their competition. So it reflects in everything that they do. They always had to go against the lighter skin Haitian, the curlier, the better hair looking Haitian. The more prestigious.
High yellow like Dr. Fayola, Lori.
Oh, blame it on my great-great-grandfather who was a white Frenchman on my daddy's side.
It also stems from even the schools we went to, even the areas we grew up in. Someone growing up in Kafu, Faye, or Cité Soleil shouldn't be judged against someone who grew up in Pétionville. It's nice you were able to grow up in luxury, but how does that define my character? How does that define my personality? Maybe luxury, you probably learned something or was exposed to something I wasn't exposed to. But why can't you sit at the table and show me? Why you have to label me as a thug before I even have the chance to prove to you if I'm really a thug or not? You understand what I'm saying? So there is and there has always been psychological trauma, which stems all the way back to slavery. And it even stems all the way back, like you were saying, Dr. Fayola, to biblical times.
Yeah, biblical times. I was going to tell you, the answer is in the word of Yah, and it goes back to where he says, Jacob I loved, Esau I hated. So when I'm making reference to this, the modern day Caucasians that we're calling white are the direct descendants of Esau, which are known as Edom. And of course, Jacob is the father who is Israel, and we're direct descendants from that standpoint. So there's always been a battle since a biblical standpoint. And the answer to this is Yeshua's return. But ultimately, you know, we can do our parts because of what his son did on the cross for us, that we can learn to love like he does. But unfortunately, what we're seeing played out, and this has been stated since biblical times, is Deuteronomy 28. The back and forth that we have with Dominicans or Jamaicans or Trinidadians, Haitians, we're all cousins. We all come from the same father, but we don't know that. So the enemy plays off of that. From a spiritual standpoint, he plays off of that, and then we just let it manifest because we don't know. Nandy made some good points, like these issues that are in our community, but we don't know. If you don't know who you are and where you come from, you don't know who you're standing, you don't know where you're going. And so from that standpoint, it has helped me look at things in a different view and lens. And for me, I fight more of helping someone come to experience the love of Yahweh versus looking at their color and all the other things that happen. Because we live in a fallen world. We live in a broken world, so no one's perfect. We all have things that we're not proud of, and we have all things that we're capable of doing. So I have to extend the grace to them that was extended to me. And at the end, vengeance is the Lord. I always tell people, none of us have a heaven or hell to put anyone in. So I let God be God from that standpoint, and I do my part of being a decent human being. That's what I tell people. I just want to be a decent human being. No color involved. What is the right thing to do? And by doing that, you still get tried. People are still gonna use you, trample over you, and I just have to know all of this is gonna come to an end. All of it. All of it on one day is gonna come to an end, and I just want to be on the right side of the Father. So whatever that looks like and what I need to do to be on that side, that's what my work and my life purpose is on this earth at this point. But yeah, it's really sad. It truly, truly is sad.
So let's shift for a moment. And I'm just thinking about what other topics we haven't covered in the last three, or this is the third, so the last two presentations. And I'm not sure whose phone that is, but someone is giving feedback. No? Okay. You know, we talked about voting, we talked about economic, we talked a little bit about health. Let's tap into that, because the next assignment I feel like God is giving me, I don't know where that's coming from.
I think it's you, it's feedback.
No? Yes?
It's not me.
So funny. So let's talk about health. You know, and the reason why I say that is because I feel like my next assignment for the month of July is going to invite professionals, experts when we talk about women's health. But in general, let's talk about health of people of color, because I'm going to tell you, my parents are aging. They're in their late 60s, about to be in their 70s. And recently my dad has to get blood work done for a procedure, and we have a family text group, and so my mom texts the copy of the letter of what blood work he needs to get done. And I tell you, every blood work that needed to be in was for a preventative disease. And so I'm like, look, I am fairly still young. Out of one of your three children, they done got married or soon to be married, got kids. I ain't got that yet. I'm the healthcare provider. I'm not trying to be stressed out with y'all health issues because you guys are not making the right decisions. And so I really have to give the heat back to the family chat and say, like, look, you know, these diseases that he's going to be dealing with, and the tests that they're trying to run on him are for preventative diseases. Degenerative disease, we can look, degenerative disease, yes, may be a genetic or maybe hereditary, but it also is diet related. And so we really need to have the conversation of how do we shift the perspective of our community to a healthy perspective? Because I would tell you, when I was doing my undergrad at the University of Miami, and I was doing my internship at the Center for Haitian Studies, you know, it was challenging because my goal at that time, because there was a focus on the food pyramid, my goal at that time was to have a food pyramid that was culturally sensitive. So I wanted to create a food pyramid that brought, because especially for diabetics or other people that have to have food exchange, so they have to change, for instance, they love starch, they have to find a healthier option. But it's not culturally sensitive. You can't tell a Haitian don't eat rice, but you don't give them something else, and you're gonna tell them to eat, you know, quinoa. What yeah, okay. They might eat bled, they might eat pizza meat, but you know, the challenge is from a health perspective, how can we have this conversation of having a healthy community? I want my parents to live as long as they can to see me one day get married and have kids, at least one child, you know what I'm saying, before the light goes out for them. And so it just really perplexed me, and I'm like, how do I bring the urgency and shift this focus back to them to realize you have to take ownership? You know, because I remember when I was doing my internship at Center for Haitian Studies, you know, they would tell me like, oh, ma moui quand même. So, c'est manger depuis grand moi t'a manger, c'est même ma manger, moi t'a manger, whatever. Si tension is in a famille, come in ma moui, bon manger, ça me manger. And I'm like, but there's a healthier side to life that you can have if you make the choice. And once again, I'm pointing one finger at them and I'm speaking 10 at me, because for the last month and a half, I've been eating out almost every day because I've been out of town, but I tried to make healthier choices of my food selection. Like for the last time, every time you see me with my head down, I'm trying to figure out what's my meal for tonight. So, you know, and it's that we really need to have this conversation about health, because it's really, you know, we already know heart disease, diabetes, these are all silent killers. Strokes, cancers, they're all preventive. Even HIV/AIDS, even though it's a pandemic. And let's talk about Netflix. What's that?
That's the CDC website, right?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
The leading cause of death on black, non-Hispanic black female by age group, okay? 1 to 19 years old, the number one cause of death, 27%, and unintentional injuries. The second one at 15% is homicide, 1 to 19 years old. 20 to 44 years old, unintentional. Second is cancer. The second killer in our women between 20 to 44 is cancer. And then you have heart disease at 14%, and then you got homicide at 7%. Okay, I remember I was looking at these numbers. I was making some research when it comes to vitamin D, and when it comes to the men, it's even more. I think homicide is so way up there, you know, when it comes to the cause of death. Let me pull it out. Okay, all right. For 1 to 19 years old, the number one cause of death in non-Hispanic black male by age group in the United States, the homicide is 35%. From 1 year to 19 years old, number one. From 20 to 44, it's still homicide at 28 years old. That means at 28%. And then you have unintentional injuries, okay? And as you age, when you go to 45 to 64, it's heart disease, gosh, and then cancer. And when you go to 65 to 84, then you have cancer and heart disease, right? And that's just the reality, you know? When you look at these numbers, they don't lie. You know, I don't need to have a heart attack to know that it's a concern.
It is. And you know, and just even using my dad as an example, he's the baby of his siblings. And so my uncle, who came to visit months ago, is still stuck here because of COVID-19 and unable to fly back to Haiti. You would think he's the youngest because he's the small, short, petite man. And here's my dad, this big buff guy, looked like a linebacker or whatever, the biggest football position you have. And I'm like, there is a difference. You know, when we talk about our foods, what is in our foods in Haiti, you know, they don't have all this mess that they put in their foods, you know, preservatives, GMOs, you know, all these diseases that are all the things that are killing us. Because if you look at what's his name, Dr. Sebi?
Sebi, yeah.
Sebi, yeah.
Why was he killed?
Because he was giving out that truth.
Not only that, people, and that's the sad thing. I love my country. I'm proud to be an American. Trust me when I believe. But we got to face the realities of some of the things that are taking place in our community, in our society, in our country. Why is preventative medicine not top priority? But they'll quickly treat you.
Because it's all about the money, sis. This is what we're
I
trying
know
to
this.
do.
This is a conversation starter. Why is health insurance? And I even reached out to my Congresswoman, Honorable Frederica Wilson. I sent them a letter twice. Do you know my insurance company told me, well, the marketplace. Let me backtrack. The marketplace told me that my premium is going to be $200 a month. I only go to the doctor once a year. I only go see my woman doctor once a year. I ain't got no health issues, praise God. I have no issues, no medications, nothing. And you tell me you want to charge me $200 a month for one young person with no health issues? I can only imagine what a family has to go through. Or people with sickness, and they tell me it doesn't matter if you're sick or not, the premium is the same. But I said, still at the end, I don't even make 60 plus. And so we really have to ask ourselves these questions. How are they really trying to keep us healthy?
They're not.
They're
You have
not.
to watch the documentary called What the Health. If you watch the documentary called What the Health, it shows you how everything works together with the CDC, FDA, American Cancer Society. It's all working and it's going a full circle. Everybody's getting their cut.
So then should we be mad at Donald Trump, President Donald Trump, for withdrawing from the World Health Organization?
Absolutely not.
Listen, I'm tired of being called a Trumpist, even if I'm Canadian, you know, and I don't vote and I don't believe in politics, etc. You know, but when you don't understand what people are fighting for example, you talk about Monsanto, if you want to talk about our health, right? And you're talking about Bill Gates and Monsanto. I was half asleep when I was watching something about that. But Bill Gates have bought big shares in Monsanto, okay? Oh yeah, bought it up, something like that. And then
what's Monsanto for the people who don't know?
Okay, Monsanto, it's the GMO company, genetically modified organism. Is that it?
Yeah. I know GMOs, but Monsanto is the company that makes those.
Yeah. What Monsanto do? Okay, well, in the Vietnam War, okay, Monsanto was the company that will provide Agent Orange to the American military to spray the Vietnamese, okay? So I'm gonna go back again. Agent Orange is a chemical gas or particle that attacks you. It's poison, right? And it kills everything around. So till today, you have Vietnamese who are deformed by Agent Orange, and the cancer rate is so high, etc. So Monsanto was in the beginning a pesticide company, right? And then they were into chemical war. And now Monsanto is the #1 producer of seeds, okay?
Oh, okay, I heard about them. Them.
Yeah. It comes back to me. Starbucks is owned by Monsanto. Is #1 partner with Monsanto. Most of the products that they sell in Starbucks are genetically modified, or they have pesticides in them, etc. Things to make you sick, right? And Monsanto not only that.
But I don't drink them.
But they're embedded with the pharmaceutical company. So here's what's happening, okay? Man, I don't like talking about these stuff, right? So
right,
here's what's happening.
You think they're gonna come for you? You think they're gonna
come for you? We got you, brother.
We got you.
We got the angels watching you.
I still got work to do. The reason why I don't like talking about this is most people are really not interested. The people in the street right now marching, once they come home, they put on Netflix. They put on other things just to change their mind, or they take a spiff, right? Or they drink themselves out, or they go chasing women that they've met in the march, etc. Right? So they're not interested.
Hold on, I gotta put a pencil right there. I gotta put a disclaimer because I don't want people to be offended.
So they can be offended. I don't care. No, seriously. Listen. No. They can be offended because they are so professional in being offended, right? Me, you do something to me, I won't be offended. I'm gonna get you back, but I won't tell you my feelings. Oh, I'm offended. You've been saying this. You've been saying that. Say whatever you can right now. Whatever you feel. Make it whatever you feel you're comfortable.
Lord, my heart is beating fast.
Say it, okay? People will get offended on anything that you're going to tell them because they're not interested in knowing why they're promoting, why they're printing the t-shirt, Black Lives Matter, why they have posters, Black Lives Matter. These things cost a lot of money.
And giving money, not only that, giving money to these organizations, like these big celebrities saying, I'm going to give this amount of money, whatever. Oh, how convenient. Why aren't you building up schools? Why aren't you building up the churches? So with everything that's going on in the world right now, GMOs and stuff like that, et là, on t'avait mettre l'argent pour faire un bagage pour moi. L'argent pas vite pour moi.
Look at the organizations. Okay, now you're talking about something else. When you look at, I don't remember who gave money recently, right? And that person
it's a basketball player. I forgot his name.
No, it's not Jordan. Before him, there's another. There's somebody else that gave money, right? To fight police brutality and stuff like that. Oh yeah, and I went to find the article and I found the name of the organization. I clicked on it. Don't ask me to remember it. I clicked on it and I went to see the executive, the board, and then I went to see all the employees, etc. Their picture, their bio, etc. Nothing but white people.
Yeah.
Okay. So but when you talk about stuff like that, okay, I'll give you an example. Captain Haiti, right? You know what they're gonna do? They got the money. They'll pay Captain America to discredit me. We got more followers, okay? But here's one thing. When it comes to come back to Monsanto and to our health that we're talking about, okay? They are together. The pharmaceutical company, the food company, the farms, the American farmers, okay, they're about to go bankrupt right now. They're not already, because it's all being industrialized. So you don't have the traditional farmers that will grow the crop or take care of the cow or the etc. They're all being industrialized. So here's the thing. We as people, we have to stop fighting in a context of our living condition in America. America is on my planet. My planet is in God's universe. And when I'm claiming my planet, it's because we have to limit ourselves in getting emotional about stuff that are not important.
Hello.
So when we talk about Monsanto and Bill Gates, and we're talking about Elon Musk, they all have plans for Africa. They all do.
They need that gold.
They
need some diamonds. They need the oil.
They can't even take the sun. And they need to be. They have plans for them over there. And we're there marching to have our right in America. Do you know how many resources there's in America? 70% of Americans' GDP rely on consumerism.
Yeah.
Well, if you don't buy, the economy collapses. What does it tell you? As Black people, the money that you have in your pocket, you can decide the policy or the current of the society just by the way you spend up your money, because the economy is based on this. And you think you're going to go marching? When you go marching, you stop at Pizza Hut, you stop at Starbucks, you stop at all these places to spend your money. You buy Avian water, etc. You buy shoes.
Your PG water.
You mess up your shoes, by marching. And you go and buy all the shoes by them same white people that don't like your ass. Come on.
You go to Gucci, you go to Prada. Wait. Hold that thought. So they're telling me to go to Facebook. So we just got so excited we've been on Facebook, but there's been some comments and questions. So let me answer them. All right, let me bring them to the attention.
Okay.
So first, I'm gonna start from the beginning. And I gotta give Gloria a shout out. Thank you for bringing it to our attention. Because I didn't want to watch it. I didn't want to switch from my laptop because I had a Zoom earlier and it bounced people off. So first of all, the question is, do you have to pay back the PPP? We kind of alluded to that, but if we could break it down, you do have to pay back the PPP because it's a loan. There's different type of loans and advances. There is the EIDL, which is the Emergency Injury Disaster Loan. They had some advances that you didn't have to pay back, so it was just like forgivable. But there's another side to it. Once that advance money ran out, there's the loan portion to the EIDL that you do have to pay back. It's very low rates. For nonprofits, it's 2.75%. For for-profits, it's 3.75%. So that's the EIDL, and this all comes from the CARES Act and the PPP. But keep in mind, there has been a recent legislation that makes it more flexible, which what Mr. Nandy or Captain Haiti was alluding to.
Okay,
now,
can I add a little bit, just something small on that topic, right? Mm-hmm. Who cares if you have to pay it back? Get the money. Wait, because this is nonsense, okay? Get the money. Even if it's at 5% rate, do you know how many decades Black people can get access to loan, predatory loan from the bank, because you don't have asset as collateral to get access to a loan? Get the money, make babies with it, so you can be able to pay it back. Okay? No, that's it.
So let me go pay. So you're telling me go buy a husband off the market and make some babies with this money, right? That's what you're telling me.
He's saying recycle it.
No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
I have a question. So,
hold on, wait. Let me finish getting to Facebook, because I don't want them to get mad, because we want them to watch tomorrow too. Okay, so then now with the PPP. So the PPP is a loan. There's some stipulation that there's some of it forgivable depending on who you lend. Well, no, let me not say that. Not depending on who you lend it from, but there's an application. So there's an application for the PPP loan. You get the loan. There's discrepancies. For instance, you don't have to put collateral if it's less than $25,000, if I'm not mistaken. If it's more than $25,000, then there's a collateral conversation involved.
Okay.
So with the PPP loan, it can be forgivable, but you have to follow the regulations. You have to keep your receipts for 3 years. You have to show proof of where this money went. You didn't frivolously spend it. It went to, paying. Of course, they're going to be forgivable, especially if it went for payroll, if it went for like paying your mortgage or your lease for your business, not for your personal stuff, as well as utilities. As far as operational costs and other expenses, that may not be covered, but once again, there's a new legislation that just came out. They used to give you 8 weeks of flexibility for that. Now they're moving it to 24 weeks. So they're giving you a longer duration. They're kind of, I won't say lessening the restrictions, but they're making it more accessible to small business owners, and they're putting more money into it. So what I would suggest to that person who's asking about the PPP loans, if you want to get that money, act fast. The original deadline was June 30th. A lot of banks have stopped giving the money, have stopped taking applications. So if you are thinking about it, I would tell you like this week, ASAP, like tonight, you need to go to your bank.
Do it tonight.
And I'm going to give you a secret that I just found out today. So there's a list of SBA approved lenders that you can get the loan with. But most banks are saying you had to have a relationship with them as a business client, not as a personal client, in order to be able to apply for the loan with them. There were some banks that were allowing you to open, well, let me not say that because I don't know if it was legal or not. So I'm just going to keep that comment to myself. But yeah.
Get them call you. Get them to contact you by email and stuff like that.
Correct.
Listen, the serious people will contact you.
No, but I don't need them to contact me. They need to go handle their business. But I'm going to use this platform to provide that free information because they asked the question. So I'm just going to give them the information. They do what they want to do with it. Because I think one of the things is with our communities, we have to share this information. If I tell you today I was a leprechaun chasing this pot of gold, and that's how I felt today. And I tell you, I'm a very resourceful person. I'm a very knowledgeable person. People ask me, when do I sleep? Trust me, I'm sleeping, but I'm watching my money and I'm watching what God is telling me as well. And so wanted to share this information at the end of the day, so they can never say nobody in my community told me. No one shared that information with me. So with the PPP loans, if you can do it with a lender, but word on the street is don't look for big banks to give you that loan. It's a lot of rigidity. It's going to take a lot of time. Go to the smaller banks as well as go to entities that are financial investors and stuff like that. If you want more information, just Google, do your research. If you're in Miami-Dade County, go to your Miami-Dade County website. If you're in Broward County, go to your Broward County website. If you're in Palm Beach County, go to your Palm Beach County website and find the information. There's a lot of money on the table. There's a lot of information out there. Don't sleep on it. And if one bank tells you no because of this, and that, there's always a way to get to that money. And in some places, you don't even have to have a bank account, but it is an investment company. So just keep that in mind. So don't ever say no one told you. We put the information out there. We giving it to you. Now it's your responsibility to take what you want with it and do what you want with it.
C'est pas si on pas quelqu'un moun qui boit pour encore, yo boit bâti kay en Haiti. That's all what it is for.
Yeah, go ahead. I want to hear from Joanne. Miss Joanne, what you had to say?
No. I'm not done. Let me finish with okay, so let me see what else. So that's the PPP loan. Whoever that was, Norquita, if that was your question, hopefully we answered it because we gave you a whole lot of information. So we're not sleeping on it. Yes to Black Wall Street. All right, we got that.
We got a country.
Somebody said we really need to practice unity and provide quality service and respect to each other. We got that. Now, this is the conversation that I want us to go back to based on what someone just responded to. Let's go back to Netflix and Starbucks. But I think we kind of hashed that conversation, right?
No, we didn't. We didn't go that deep. He talked more about Starbucks. But let Joanne
go ahead, Jadine. I'm ready for you.
Okay, so Joanne, go ask your question. Then Captain Haiti. Okay, just keep in mind. Moving forward, we got 20 minutes because I have to get off at 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
So we got 20 minutes.
No,
after,
the thing was
hold up. After she asked her question, moving forward, if we can keep our conversations pithy, because at the end, at least for a good 10 minutes, I want us to talk about solutions. Because as you guys, this is the last panel discussion that we will have. Tomorrow is just one special guest.
Yeah, there's a solution already.
No, but I want us to break it down.
Okay.
We gonna give 10-minute segment of talking about solutions.
Okay.
So when they say, because I'm one of those, I don't want you to talk to you blue in the face and you don't tell me what I can do to make a difference. So we may have talked about it, but I want us to have a 10-minute segment, now a 9-minute segment of that discussion of solutions to give to the people that are watching. Because at the end of the day, if I ever see, and I'm gonna watch some of these people because some of them are my contacts, if they ever say something sideways, I'm gonna be like, we gave you the information. We talked about solutions. We talked about the reality of what's going on in the community. So you can never say, I didn't know. I never heard that. I didn't know that, X, Y, Z. But Joanne, go ahead and ask your question, my love.
I think it was answered through what you were just saying and Nandy was saying. It was more about the PPP loan. I wanted to know if it was just for business owners or if it was also like for as a private loan. But I guess it looks like it's just business loan.
Yes, it's for small business owners. Some from the county, well, I'll say from the federal perspective. From the federal perspective, it's less than 500. Just shit. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
Somebody who got 500 employees.
Okay.
Just shit.
Okay.
No, wait. But so it's for businesses that have less than 500. You do not have to be a small business owner per se, meaning that you have employees. You can be a sole proprietor, meaning that you are one individual that represents a business, or you can be an independent contractor. But you do have to show legitimacy of your business was created before February 15, 2020. And you also, for some banks, you've had to have a business banking relationship with them before March.
Okay.
Andy, what you wanted to say?
All right. What I want to say about that loan, okay? I'm going to try not to make you laugh, okay?
I'm already laughing.
It's a loan that allows you, because the stupid stuff that we do. I talked to a client yesterday, right? He was like, oh, kisa, 24 semaines pour me dépenser comme ça? No, because he got 100,000, right? And now he got this money. Now he's calling us and said, yo, I got the money, but I don't know what to do with it. Mm-hmm. Well, listen, okay, we're glad we called you. You called us. Okay, you have to spend that money mostly in salary, okay? Mm-hmm. And it's not coming from me. I have a financial advisor I'm working with. And he's like, Kisa, 24 semaines pour me dépenser $100,000? Oh, moi, buy a couple back. Because
wow.
Yeah, because
but it's not just salaries though.
Yeah, and others today, and I'm talking about key people in our community, right? Another one today, he said, well, you know what? It's somebody that owns a TV station. Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna go for myself for a salary, and the maximum amount that you can pay yourself is $1,900. You know what? I'm just gonna go for $1,900 per week. I'm just gonna go for $100,000. Yeah, but ain't you tired of editing everything yourself? Aren't you tired of being the cameraman sometimes? Or equipment, etc. And so why don't you, there's a bunch of people that's going to be laid off from corporations. The government is giving you that money because he wants you to employ others and put them to work within your company to create value so they can pay taxes, etc. Take the maximum money that you can, and that money, anybody that you know that have the qualification, hire them people.
And not only that,
it's your responsibility.
It's not just salaries. You can use it to pay for their vacation. You can use it for health insurance. You can use it for 401k. Trust me when I tell you. That's why I tell people, oh, l'argent gouvernement, c'est là, oh, c'est. I'm like, you are, I don't want to say what I want to say, but what I want to tell them is, you've been praying to God to give you a financial blessing. You've been praying to God to give you time to do his work, and he's giving it to you, and you complaining, and you so tunnel vision, you like this, oh, and I'm like, wake up. That's why I tell people, trust me when I tell you, I am that leprechaun looking for that pot of gold, okay? Trust me when I tell you, I'm going to get my piece of the pie, no matter what. And it's so simple. They're not asking you for a lot of information, because if you went to a real bank to get a loan, they're going to ask you for 3 to 5 years of your tax returns. They're going to be asking for your great grandma's social security number. And this process, I would tell you, even for the EIDL advanced, it was a 1-page document. That's all I had to fill out for both of my nonprofits.
So, okay, to conclude on my part, okay? If you don't have your business set up already, okay, too bad. But it doesn't mean that there won't be other opportunities down the line. Because when you have a business, okay, you remember when Mitt Romney said that corporations are people too? And everybody got upset about that. You guys didn't get it. Corporations are people too. Times 2. Okay. So get yourself, pay that $155 to register your company on Sunbees right now. If only 1% do it right now,
come on now.
Go on sunbees.org, fill up the information, get your company popping, and get ready for other things coming.
And you know what? I'm going to challenge you, Nandy, and I'm challenging myself. And somebody said, okay, somebody's waiting for the solution. So I tell you they're waiting for the solution. I'm going to challenge you, Nandy. I'm also even going to challenge Nadine, because she could do the nonprofit. Let's say anybody right now on Facebook said, I'm ready to start my business. I'm ready to start my nonprofit. I challenge us to help one individual pro bono. Let's put our money where our mouth is.
I'm not doing that. I refuse a challenge. I love you, but I refuse a challenge. You got to pay me, okay? Because you ain't going to save the money on me so you can bring it to Whitey. Value me. No, I'll share you something with, let me tell you something, okay? I got this company. The company's name is Data Remote, okay? The CEO of that corporation, he saw me in Little Haiti. I was dressed as Captain Haiti, right? When he came to me, we were at Bongo Barbecue. I'm going to make it short. We were at Bongo Barbecue.
Yeah, because we got 2 minutes for the 10-minute section.
He saw the Haitian flag. He saw, made in China. Haitian flag is supposed to be made in China. I'm like, well, I've been trying to tell them that. This guy, we had a conversation. He said, come and see me at my office tomorrow. I said, I don't take jobs from people. You know, he offered me a $120,000 job, executive house, and he will sponsor me for my residency in the United States, etc. Okay? Plus the promise that I'll make at least $1 million within a year with his company, right? That's why I mentioned the company so people don't know I'm lying, okay? I refused that job. You know what he asked me to do? And I respect that man. And this guy opened my eyes, okay? And I'm not resentful for what he said. The reason why I knew I had to refuse, he said, you're gonna have to kill Captain Haiti.
The devil is a liar.
No, white people are trying to hire me all the time for my gift and my talent that God gave me. But Haitians and Black, they're trying to get me for free. I'm not doing this no more. You want that quality from me that's going to change not only your life, your family's life, your next generation, etc. You got to pay me. You got to pay Dr. Fayola. You got to pay Noisha. You got to pay Jadin. You got to pay Joanne. You got to pay us. No problem. Die alone, because all you need is 1%. Everybody's complaining about the 1%. Why don't we be the 1% and dictate their life? And we decide how we pay them.
How you doing?
Well, I was just trying to get people excited about, making that difference, because, I'm one of those people that, I believe, because I go to a lot of conferences. I've been doing this all my life. From a business owner, my parents have been small business owners. I had to reinvent myself, even with 2 degrees from well-established universities. I was homeless. I had to figure out, okay, you don't want to give me a job. I can't go back to grad school because I don't want to take any more student loans. I had to start my own business. That's how I started, with the little money that I had left in my 401k after the economic crash. And so I know the hurt of trying to start with nothing. And so that's why I gave that challenge, but duly respected. You know what I'm saying? I feel you, because that's what I told people. Even after July, my free master classes would no longer be free. Even after June, I'm gonna be nice to you in June. It's my birthday month. I'm gonna bless you. But after June, we're gonna be talking about where's the money. You want me to come speak to your event? Even for some of the nonprofit organizations that I serve with, they're gonna have to start valuing my time and my dollar, because at the end of the day, everybody got bills to pay. At the end of the day, everybody got a check that they need to make. At the end of the day, we got family to feed. And I'm not just talking about my immediate family. I'm talking about the nation. I can't go to Africa with not a dollar in my pocket and say, I'm going to do God's work. I'm going to change the world. No, I still got to have a wine. I still just want at least want to good in them, something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I agree with Nandy. However, it's funny you said a challenge. I'm actually doing it right now. There's always a balance. If you know you're blessed and you're good, it doesn't hurt me to help somebody else, because that person I'm helping, even though they don't pour into me that way immediately, they're gonna pour into somebody else. It's like, my thing is sharing and caring. So I totally agree with you, Nandy. But ultimately, I'm actually helping somebody right now launch her business, because that's part of what I do. But and it's pro bono, but we're good. We don't got nothing to worry about.
We ain't gonna do that often though. We gonna do just what they say. I'm gonna give. Just like when you ask a corporation for their corporate responsibility, social responsibility, they say they have a percentage of their budget to give back to the community. That's what we need to do as small business owners as well. We can't always give free. You're gonna say, I give 5% of my business or 5% of my time every month. Once that 5% is over, it's a done deal, it's a wrap. And I'm gonna tell Nafatali, thank you for reminding me of that tactic, because sometimes, and it's hard, because I come from a life of community leaders. I come a life of religious leaders, and we're always giving with not a dollar put to that value. But one thing I know, that's it. Just like they say in the radio, pay pour parler, pay to get some services.
Well, one last thing on that topic, okay? Do you know that just communicating the idea to somebody that they have to start a business, do you know that you should get paid for that? Because that's consultation.
Of course. We know that.
The people through this conversation, they're getting great value just by listening to us telling him, you know what? Go on sunbiz.org, pay $155. You can do it right now with your credit card, get your social security number ready, and do it. And you have a company. And the reason why you see me, I'm exhausted, is because even if you do it for free for them, they won't do it.
Yeah, I mean,
trust me, I know.
They won't do it. So I'd rather do it with somebody that's going to pay me, because they value what they pay for. That's what I meant. But I love you guys. Okay, I don't work for free anymore. Okay, PI ça passe déjà. Okay, moi des monde que travaille pour yo, que me fait pour yo déjà.
We ain't gonna talk about this Netflix though. It's 54.
We got okay. All right, how we gonna do this? Whoever want to talk about Netflix, I give you 1 minute, because we got to talk about solutions. The people are telling me what are the solutions.
It's a shutdown. I mean, it just shows how people still don't respect us, and they're going to try to oppress us in any way they can.
Some people don't know what you're talking about, so break down. What
I'm sorry. So let me tell y'all something. I was working this weekend.
Keep it pithy.
Yeah. So I didn't even know this thing was going on. I just saw a post from Lunia Sweet saying she's tired of this crap of why they keep disrespecting Haiti. Next thing I know, a petition is on the street. So apparently Netflix has a documentary that they're doing on AIDS. And so I think this was episode 9. And in episode 9, they pretty much said that Haiti was responsible, Haitians were responsible for AIDS. And we all know that that was recanted by the CDC, I think in 1985. They said it in 1983. By 1985, there was no science data to back it up. So they had to recant it. So the fact that this documentary did not do that, this is not the climate or season to be coming for another, sect of color. So within 24 hours, Sweet and her team and some other people basically found all the people who were behind the documentary, basically asked Netflix to take it down. Now, my challenge for everyone else is, okay, they're gonna take this documentary out, but you still got a Netflix account. So that means what? They get to do that again. Give it another 5 years, 10 years again. Guess what they're gonna do? They're gonna do it again. Because what we're saying from the beginning of this broadcast, your money is where that's how you talk and speak. So if we were mad enough for them to take it down, were we mad enough for us to pull out our Netflix account and say, this is not what we're gonna tolerate? Absolutely
and that's where the
not.
economic process comes from.
Exactly. So that's my thing on that.
15 seconds. I have to start by saying my dear mom, she died from AIDS, okay? And I took care of her along with my family for so many years, okay? My mom. But I don't care if they take Haiti, gave AIDS or not, etc., or if AIDS came from Haiti, etc. The COVID-19, it came from China. What they gonna do about it? They can't do China nothing. China is sending COVID-19 everywhere, and they're buying properties here.
And they still buying products. Your PPEs come from China.
And they buy Africa. So
exactly. So who cares? Nobody cares. No. Some people care, but they care about ridiculous stuff. Who cares? The gold that we have in Haiti right now, that they're picking up right now, I want you to do a petition about that. I want you to sign that petition. I want to march in the street about that, because when the American dollar fall, it's going to be gold #1. And you have a bunch of it in Haiti, and they're stealing it from you. Right now, it's worth 20 billion. When the dollar fall, it's going to worth, let's say, they say gold's going to reach 30,000 per ounces by 20 years from now. So that 20 billion that it's worth, it might worth trillions of dollars.
All right, 15 seconds.
Who cares?
Because we promised the people some solutions. So before we give the solutions, and I know I'm gonna be late, so I already told my other meeting, bear with me, because I gotta finish this. First of all, I want to thank y'all so much, especially Captain Haiti, aka Martin Nandy, aka Captain Haiti, Jadine Lusant. They've been in the game since the first one. I thank y'all so much. Continue. I had to keep bringing y'all because y'all bring the hype, y'all bring the information.
Oh, yeah.
Y'all kind of like, there's moments y'all button heads and there's moments y'all on the same team. So I appreciate it so much. To our newbies that came on board, Joanne and Noisha, thank you for coming on tonight. We hope you enjoyed. We hope that this conversation will not only just be on this platform, but continue the dialogue. Noisha, I challenge you. Go back to Club Creole, have these serious conversations, because I would tell you 2 things. I remember when I was at UF doing my undergrad with the College of Health and Human Performance, I had a professor who made us watch a video, and that video said the same thing that documentary said, that the 5 H's of HIV/AIDS, and Haiti was one of those H's. The other thing, I believe there was a boat situation that occurred in Miami, and I was in Gainesville at that time. I don't remember if I was an officer yet at Club Creole, but I was very active on campus. I gave my statement. You can do so much, even as a college student. And I challenge you, keep your ear to what's happening in the community here in South Florida and other places. You have your BSU, the Black Student Union. You have VITA, the Volunteer International Student Association. You have all these organizations. I challenge you, when there's an issue in your community, do not be quiet because you're a college student. Do not be quiet because you're in Gainesville, Florida. Because I tell you, I had a voice. and I challenge you and I give my mantle to you as a student at the University of Florida, a leader in Club Creole, that you have an obligation because you got this information, whether you knew it or not. And I would even challenge you all, watch 1804, have an 1804 watch party. That opened my eyes that at 37 years old that I knew the reality and the truth of what my story was. That's how this all started. We are not going to let people tell our narratives. We're not going to let people tell our history. We're going to tell our own history, and we're going to tell the truth and how it really happened. To Joanne, I thank you so much, my love. I know the passion. That's why I wanted to have you on. I know you're passionate about the issues that affect our community, not just as a mental health perspective, but you're outspoken on the issues that relate to what we discussed tonight and many other issues. So I thank you that you eventually got on the bandwagon, because I'm like, my girl too quiet now. Don't make me shame now. We on national TV.
I didn't know how to interject.
No, that's all right, girl. We politely
I didn't want to get burned.
Right.
Now you won't, girl. This all love. This is all love.
I know.
So, and I gotta be off in 5 minutes at least, because you know this is a professional organization that I have to lead this meeting for. So I will tell you all in 5 minutes. Let's talk about solutions. So let's talk about, we talked about economy for a while. Give me 1-2 economic solutions that people can do for our Haitian American community, no matter where they are, to make a difference. 1 or 2 economic. We're gonna talk about economic first. Give me a solution.
So I'm gonna just interject for a little bit. Just speaking out to college age students, there's just so many like online Instagram pages where people are just trying to do things like doing hair and doing makeup to get the buck. But as an inspiration from this conversation, it's just like, rather than just making the buck, if you know this is something you can profit off of, you know, based off what Nandy said, investing in it, going on Sundays, making that business. Because, you know, if you know you have the talent to do it, then it's just like, if you know you can do it, what's the point of not investing in it if it's not something you can profit off of? So I really thank you guys for this insight to know that, you know, we may be the college age students, we're not exactly at the working class in a sense, like, you know, we're learning how to work essentially in this at this college, at this university, how to work in our field. But you know, if we do find things during our time in college that we feel like we can profit off of, it's not just to say, okay, I'm just gonna sell these products so I can pay the rent in college and things of that nature, but to also make sure, you know, take note of what you're profiting off of and turn it into a bigger business. And also just supporting us. I know we're college people, we living off of ramen noodles sometimes. It's tough.
Yeah, I didn't live ramen noodles. We had crab boils.
It also just starts with us, because, you know, when people have these businesses where we're doing hair and they're doing makeup, you know, we try to be like, oh, can I get a discount because I'm a friend, the thing of whatever, but to just really put value in your fellow brother, your fellow sister who's trying to make it, because like this conversation was surrounded around money talks. So really just, you know, we are that next generation. So we're building our community to balance out that economic power imbalance that we're currently suffering from right now. It starts with the younger generations and what we're building and what we're trying to invest in to make sure that like 5 years down the line, when we're that working class, we have more of our people of our color, have more organizations, more businesses that can knock out that imbalance. So thank you so much.
No problem.
I want to say something.
Hold on one second. What I want to say before I forget, Joanne, if you don't mind real quick, what I want to say to the college students, especially Gainesville, college town, if you have the capacity, buy property near the campus and rent it out.
Working on it.
Unfortunately, my little sister tried to do that when she was at UF, but then the economic crash was right around the corner. The second thing is, when you get that surplus check from your student loans, you do 2 things. You either give it back or you invest it. Don't spend it. Because I was in Tallahassee every weekend. People thought I went to FAMU or FSU. I would get my hair done looking like Mary J. Blige. I'll go get my new outfit, my Express, my whatever store we were shopping at that time. I lived at, what's the mall called again?
Oaks something.
Oaks Mall.
Yeah, see? I used to be out there too.
Okay. So I used to live at Oaks Mall. They knew me by name, okay? They knew I was coming because I was going to get my outfit before I go to Tallahassee, Tampa, and Orlando. So I challenge you all, be smart with the funds that you get. Either you give it back or you invest it. Make sure that you leave school with no debt, because there's no excuse. You at a public institution, it's not expensive. There's scholarship. You could be a first generation. You're a student of color. Even in your majors, write those essays for those scholarships and do what you got to do, because there is no excuse at all. Every student should at least leave University of Florida with no debt or very little debt. There's no excuse. Is a different story. We left with a whole lot of debt unless you had good parents with money, or you had a scholarship, or you knew somebody. All right. So we talked about economy. If there's anybody else want to chime in? Oh, Joanne, you want to say?
I do, yeah. So one solution I could give for the economic aspect is I know people have been talking about Blackout Tuesday, all this type of stuff, whatever. So I was thinking about doing a challenge where we support only Black businesses for probably, it's probably going to be hard for about a month. So get your nails done at a Black salon. Get your buy your food from a Black restaurant, Black food truck. Try to buy your clothes online from a Black vendor. So let's do that way. If we really talking about we're gonna do Blackout Tuesday, not invest into the predominantly white, owned businesses, and let's start supporting into each other. Or even if you don't buy, invest. Send a cash out, send a Zelle. Do something and say, you know what, my brother, my sister, I got you. So I'm not gonna buy clothes, or I probably don't really, I'm not really interested in what you're selling at the moment. I don't see the need for your product, but I'm gonna invest into your business because I see that other people have the necessity, or this can be something that benefits someone else. So pay like an outfit for somebody, someone who needs, an outfit, who's home, who can't go to the store and buy something, but they have an upcoming event. So go to an online Black vendor and pay something for $20 for them. So why won't we start out with our Blackout Tuesdays by supporting our Black businesses, investing into them?
All right, we're gonna have to make the responses a little more pithy. So let's talk about health. Solution for health.
Your body is your temple.
Yeah.
Okay. Not everybody knows the word, so break it down and pithy.
I mean, so when I said it, I didn't say it with the verse, because your temple, whether you're a Buddhist or a Kabbalist.
Yeah, but just elaborate more. What are you trying to say? Your body is your temple.
Okay, so you are what you eat.
Okay,
How?
there we go.
You are what you eat.
Anybody else?
Get some sunlight. Just be out there, and maybe us marching in the sun, right? Watching Black Lives Matter, etc. We're recharging in vitamin D. We ain't gonna get none of that corona coming back because we're full of vitamin D and sun. That might be something.
All right, let's talk about family units. Let's talk about the male species, the female species, children, family. We didn't really talk about that, but we kind of dived into it a little bit. So let's talk about the family unit. What solution do we have for healthy family units?
Get married, then have kids. How?
Alrighty then. Anyone else?
Marriage is a business. It has nothing to do with love.
Okay.
Nothing to do with love.
I feel a conversation coming from that, so hold that thought.
Marriage is
It's going to be another hour.
I know, right? And they're already calling me for my next meeting. So what else? The psyche, psychological, mental health. Let's talk about that.
Stay away from white people.
Oh no!
I'm going to because I have 1.8% white in me, so I take offense to that.
Yeah, no.
You're offended. Just stay away from that 1%, and we're gonna see much of that beautiful smile of yours.
You know what? I can't with you. That is, and I'm gonna give a disclaimer. Everybody's opinion on here is reflective of the individual. It's not a reflective of Dr. Fayola Delica or any of her entities that she represents, or Miss Haiti Excellence 2020. Thank you. All right. What else?
She's right.
So we talked about spiritual. Let's talk about spiritual solution. Promote your identity.
Anything about psychological. So just a quickie. What I wanted to say is, especially during this time, people need to get some rest, get at least 6 hours of sleep during the day or the night. It doesn't matter. As long as you sleep at least 6 hours, create a routine, whatever routine, and adapt that routine for 21 days. because whatever your mind adapts to 21 days, it starts to bring change, and then it starts to react on your body. And just try to, do things that make you happy so you can eliminate anxiety and depression. So whether that's writing, journaling, reading the Bible, riding a bike, going outside for a few minutes to catch some sunlight, some fresh air. Don't stay in a house only. If you don't feel like you want to go out because you don't want to be exposed to COVID-19, at least go outside of your house for 15 minutes every day and get some sunlight, and some fresh air, and then create a routine and adapt a hobby. Something. You'll be surprised what you could do, and do it for 21 days. You'll be surprised what your mind does with that.
Yeah.
All right.
And spiritually, very short, okay? Very short.
Sure. I'm waiting. Come on. Give it to me.
Stop idolizing a prisoner in the place of Jesus. Take that freaking painting that Michelangelo did, that fake Jesus, take it down. Jesus was black. So stop idolizing. It was a prisoner. Most of us have a prisoner on our walls, okay, to depict Jesus.
Give the name of that prisoner.
Put it down.
We gotta keep it short, y'all, because I really gotta go.
No.
You have to give the name of it. It's Georgia Borgia, something like that. George Borgia.
Okay, it's spiritual, because that way you're projecting yourself as you see Jesus as you are, as he was, right? And psychologically, you have less white supremacist tendencies, because we black people were the number one white supremacists in this world. Because once we decide that this thing is done, there's nothing that white people can do to stop us to claim our planet back. So we are the white supremacists. Take that white Jesus down, spiritually, psychologically, economically, everything's gonna get better.
All right, we're gonna close on this one: political and community engagement, and that's a wrap.
We already talked about it.
Solution. This is a solution moment, because people are waiting for solution. Because we did a whole lot of conversation. So I just
civic community.
Okay, get involved in your civic community.
Register where your mouth is with the candidates.
And support the candidates that you feel are viable candidates. Anything else before we close?
Impose your agenda to your candidate. Reparation for blacks, retribution for Haitians. That's it. Whoever's going to group it, Republican, Democrat, I don't care, as long as we get the check.
And Pete, that's it. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank y'all so much. We had an awesome time. I want to thank Noisha Noel, a fellow Gator, a fellow Club Creole leader. Just doing big things. Our Miss Transform Me IT 2020, the first winner of this awesome
2018.
What I said? 2018. We want to thank JD, who is the founder, executive director of Miss Transform Me IT pageant, as well as the founder of Unique Academy. We want to thank her so much. Nandy Martin, Captain Haiti, aka.
This is my friend. We need to go do lunch.
Okay, comédien.
But we thank you so much for really, really stimulating, JD and Captain Haiti. I thank them for stimulating the conversation. That's why they kept coming back.
Yeah, I need to have lunch.
Thank you, Nandy. We appreciate this. Definitely, we got to figure out all this conversation we had. What can we do to actually put our money where our mouth is? Put some action, put some fuel to the fire. I'm always game. Money talks. So we got to make sure that we make some money, be talking and walking in this season.
Hello.
Miss Joanne, I thank you so much. Our Miss South Florida 2019 of Miss Florida International Pageant System, our mental health expert. We want to thank her so much. And I am Dr. Fayola Delica, your Miss Haiti Excellence 2020. We not playing ne saison sans Haitian absolute. Now be savages in this season. We not
savages.
We not playing. May the Lord bless you all. I hope you all enjoyed. Tomorrow we will have our finale. We will have Dr. Marie Flor Lindor-Latour on. She's a community leader. She's a philanthropist. She's a political strategist. She's a protocol coach. She's a candidate. Awesome woman, has given her life to the Haitian community for over 25 years. She is going to close us out on this series. And starting in July, we're going to have a series for women health. We're going to have experts talk about the woman body, how to keep ourselves healthy, how to stay away from cancer, heart disease, all these other diseases. I love y'all. Y'all ain't got to go home, but you got to get up.
Bye. Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Thank you. Good night, everyone.
Bye. Haïtien, nous disons merci en pile.
Merci.
Haïtien, nous allons griller dans la saison ça quand même n'a fait respecter Haïtien.
Yes,
Hello.
let's some love. Give me some love.
Love y'all.